Hey guys, I'm Viking82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today. This time around, I'm going to be talking to you about the new EP from the band Faithbreaker, entitled No Purity. And if you're not familiar with this band, they are a trio out of Houston, Texas, that formed, I believe, just last year. And consisting of John Jones on vocals, Alex Hofflick handling guitars and vocals, and Julian Krieger also handling bass and vocals. There was no mention of any drummer anywhere that I looked. I tried to find out any information on that. So whether one of these guys played the drums or they programmed them, I couldn't tell you. But if they programmed them, that's some really good programming. The style of this band, I would say, is kind of a mixture of hardcore with death metal, some beatdown, and even a sprinkling of deathcore in a couple parts. This is the band's actual first EP. They did have a demo out last year entitled Hour of Trial that, much like this EP was released digitally, this actually just came out on the 8th of this month. It is 7 tracks, clocks in just under 19 and a half minutes, and I honestly cannot stop listening to this. I've probably listened to it at least a half a dozen times, if not more. It's just so heavy, and it just makes you want to come back to it. But yeah, when you first start it, you're greeted with this feedback intro, and then John just starts slowly growling out the lyrics, and then bam, you're just hit with the guitars, the bass, the drums, and they just all steadily increase to full speed right about the 30-second mark, and it takes off from there. The guitars, they pack a real nice punch to them. They're heavy, crunchy, with lots of good chugging riffs mixed with kind of more mid-pace moments that, just kind of make you want to nod your head along. Really good galloping rhythms, I think. They even have some guitar riffs at times that are more, I guess you can say, dissonant sounding. They just have this, you'll know when you hear it, but bass work, I think, is solid. I love the production of it. The tone they got is thick and twangy, which, you know me, I'm a big fan of bass. It's not too high up in the mix, yet it's still audible, and it works well, I think, to give the songs a real solid backbone and that added kick to the teeth that these songs need. I liked the drum production here. The snare has a real nice loud snap to it. The double kicks, when they come in, the kick drums in general have a really good sound to them. And nothing can ruin an album more, I think, than really bad drum production, especially in the kick drums. Overall, I thought, the drum performance was solid. Many would say it kind of sticks to like a standard hardcore drum beat and style, but they mix it with, a lot of really good double bass parts and some interesting rolls here and there. As far as the vocals go, they tend to stick to more the kind of mid-range death growl / roar, though he does go a bit lower at certain times. And then you also get the more kind of traditional hardcore shouts in the mix as well. And they tend to, like I said, mostly stick to the growls, and then the hardcore parts will come in. They sometimes trade off or do dual vocals. Now this EP had several things that really stuck out to me throughout the whole thing. Track 2, Deadbeat, about the 260 mark, it has one of those few deathcore elements that I could find in here, and that's kind of the traditional deathcore style breakdown. And it also happens in another song that I can not remember which one it is exactly. But really, that's about the only deathcore I really hear in this whole EP. Track 3, Hypocrisy. I love the real drum roll style intro that they do that's accompanied with this really heavy riff and this low death growl over the top. And here's where they really introduce the vocal trade-offs between the hardcore vocalist and the more death metal style. And like I said, they do kind of a trade-off thing where one will do a line and another one will do it, or sometimes they'll do dueling vocals where they're doing it at the same time. Sounds really good though. Track 4, Saturate. About the 259 mark, there's this really awesome breakdown in that song, and I just love that heavy audible bass part that you hear around that time. Track 5, Retribution, about a minute 14 in, there's a riff that really reminds me of the song Eaten by Bloodbath, and that's one of my favorite Bloodbath songs. When I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And that same riff occurs right around the 138 mark, so to hear that kind of Bloodbath influence, I guess you can say, at least to that riff, I thought was really cool. The last track, King Me, about 148 in, everything just drops out except for the bass, and the vocals, and I just absolutely loved the sound of the bass on this part here, and I think it really gives you a chance to really appreciate that nice tone that they got to the bass, because like I said, I'm a sucker for a good bass tone, so when that part came in, I was just like, yeah. Overall, the EP that is solid. I mean, it just pummels you right from the start. It's heavy, it's pissed off sounding, and it just makes you want to go back to it and listen to it over and over again. Like I said, I just can't seem to stop listening to it. Every time I turn around, I'm listening to something, and then I just go right back to this. I'm really hoping that down the line there will be a physical release of this, because I would love to have this CD so I can just take it everywhere and not have to rely on listening to it digitally. But yeah, that's all up to the band and hopefully a label that'll sign these guys. So yeah, I give this a solid 9 out of 10. Definitely go check it out. I will be leaving a link down below so you can check out their Bandcamp. As far as merch goes, I think they only have a t-shirt available right now, so we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and until next time, stay brutal.